what defines a positive and what defines a negative role model. So I think the positive ones are the ones that actually make you think, be critical, be motivated, strive for a better you, try to be the best you can be, and you can identify with them. Like they have similar struggles or they have similar way of living, and you feel like how they are acting and how they are thinking is in line with what you want to be or expecting to be. So in a sense, I think most of the people think and believe that all the role models are positive, and that makes it kind of difficult to identify negative ones. So why would anybody follow a negative role model? I don't think that's really a thing. Everybody believes that the role model they're following is what they're trying to be and what it should be and how people should live their lives. But let's be honest, there are a lot of bad role models out there. I don't want to name specifics just yet, but I think negative role models lack awareness, so they are not in line with um, how you should act to each other. Like you can be very egocentric or very money driven, and that can be a good thing for you as an individual, but it doesn't contribute anything to the community or other people that they can value and use for their trip in life, I would say, or their self development. Usually they don't understand very good the nuances, so a lot of people like to talk about politics, like to say what they think is right or wrong about politics. Try to stay away as much as possible from politics because, yeah, politics are pretty nuanced and very complex. There are a lot of parties, interested parties, or how do you say it? Like a lot of people are benefiting or getting or like negatively benefited. I don't know how you say it, but a lot of parties are involved with it, and it's not easy to make one coherent thought or a law that you should pass this way because it would benefit everybody in the same or similar way. There's always somebody to gain from it and somebody to lose from it. So there's always lobbying and people trying to persuade each other. So I would stay away from politics as a role model or even in general. Like you can have your opinions about it, but usually they're based upon this TikTok you saw or this video on Instagram that you saw, and it's not really holding true to the actual conversation that went down and all the points that were discussed. So politics, role models that are based upon politics or that became famous or intrigued by politics, I don't really like them that much. I think it's just too complex to talk about with one person and just say like this should be this way, migration should be this way, they should put up a border and that's it. Like it's way more nuanced than that, and it's not easy to do it, to say it this way or even implement it this way. Like a lot of times you might have a good idea and you think you're right, but the practical side of it is not feasible, and you just lose out on the totality of it. Like if you cannot implement it practically, it doesn't mean anything theoretically. So sometimes role models can actually be intentionally bad because they might have some benefit to gain. Like everybody wants to hear the quick way to get rich or the quick way to get fit or the quick way to become famous. And a lot of people like to preach into this specific need or desire of people. And I think this is very dangerous because some people really take advantage of it. They can become very popular just because they're saying the right things that trigger people in this way, that they might think they become famous or might become wealthy in this way. So a lot of these things are intentionally bad, and in that way, there actually are negative role models. They know about themselves that they are just selling bad information or preaching a bad ideal, and they are able to sell it. Let's just call it what it is. Hustlers University. I know I'm not making. I don't want to throw shots really directly, but it's kind of a scam, you know, like you're paying for a subscription that tells you things you don't really can use or you cannot really practically implement. And for those who don't know, Hustlers University is from Andrew Tate. It's actually, or Academy, I don't know, I don't even know what the real name is. But basically, it's tips and tricks to get wealthy. They like to tell you about how you should be drop shipping or whatever, like all these methods that you can find for free online. They bundle it together in a package and they sell it to you for I don't know, 20 euros a month or something. And if you bring on other people, you get a cut of it. So it's kind of like there is some value or some content in it, but it's also free to find. And if you bring along other of your friends or people, you get a cut of it. So it's kind of it's a pyramid scheme in a way. Like I won't say it's a full one because I've been in one before in Wonderland Time. It was a crypto coin that if you invested early, you would get the most return, and the only value it had was the value you brought in, and they invested that value, and then you would get a return. But the return they projected was way too high for any reasonable way of making money. Like they would say you would quadruple or tenfold your money in less than a year. I don't think it's possible, or I kind of know it's not possible in any shape or form on a large scale, because otherwise all the big institutions would be doing it. So this kind of learned me a lesson, I hope. I'm not sure if I will stay on with it or I will stay away from it, but this kind of showed you that you can fall into a pyramid scheme pretty quickly. I fell into one before, so it's not bad if you fall into one. You just have to realize and accept it at some point. Like, okay, this was actually a bad investment. I'm not saying that Hustlers in University or Academy doesn't have anything good in it, but it's just not the best way to spend your money. You could get all the information for free, actually. So, next point is that sometimes societal or cultural norms can be shaped or formed in a way that speaks to your desire, and this can be shown by, for example, certain traits or behaviors that you display. So I had this example of money before, and a lot of Western societies or cultures appraise is money gaining. Like, oh, you make more money, you're farther ahead in life, or you're doing better than me in life, and everybody's like comparing these kind of wages or how much you're making to each other, and we're all for like, yeah, it's not like there is a correlation with more money being happier, but there's also like the amount of time you should invest, the amount of things you can do with your time. For example, if you have a lot of money but you have no time, then what is money worth for you? So it's kind of balance in between time, money, and yeah, your happiness, I guess. So what makes a positive role model actually a positive one? So instead of just saying how you should do it, they should also like provide you the steps, encourage you along the way, support you, give you alternatives for if it's not working for you. And this kind of brings individuals together in a community. So with all these people that have similar problems and they all want to achieve similar goals, or it can be identical, but example, everybody I think wants to be happy. That's a pretty common goal across the globe. So if we have all these lone people that are not getting the full potential, being fully happy with themselves, then there are role models that can get these people together, form a group, and actually make them part of a community. And this community supports each other in getting the same achievements and the same goals. And you can be part of multiple communities, and in each community you have certain values and ideas that you want to flourish, and you can get there together in that community to those goals. It's way more difficult to get there as one person. So yeah, the logical way forward is that you cannot do it alone. You should rely on other people. You should ask advice. You should go out to talk to people, get new experiences, be confronted or be challenged with your own experiences and thoughts. And that's how we grow as a person and as an individual. So the role models for this community, one community can have multiple role models. Like, for example, in the gamer community, there are a lot of role models there, streaming on Twitch or whatever. That's kind of supports these things, the ideals or the thoughts about this, what this community wants to strive for, and that's mostly happiness and um, spending of how do you say it, invulling of time. One aspect I didn't touch here is positive role models actually try to strive for a better world. So we have role models and communities that come together and they try to achieve a common goal or a common set of goals, but the goals themselves are not that ethically or morally well founded, and usually are not usually, but sometimes are in the interest of the role model or sometimes in the interest of the individuals, but never. But sometimes it doesn't contribute towards a better future. So I think positive role models also like to contribute towards this positive and better future by stimulating everybody to think critically, to evaluate what they're saying, even what the role model itself is saying. Like, you could be talking shit all day and promote the best goal and future for everybody, but if you're not acting and speaking what you're saying, or like being in line with what you are saying, then it doesn't really mean anything. You can say all the things you want and you go outside and you don't do them. Like, what's good? What's any good of it? And you have to actually do the things you say and believe in them and try to make other people see the way you are seeing this. And if they challenge it, so be it. That's even better, you know? Like, if you have a good idea and somebody challenges a certain aspect of that idea, the idea can only become better. Like, we all work together towards the same goal and we make this idea work for as much people as possible. There's not a solution that will work for everybody, but sometimes little tweaks and stuff can make it work for another person. You don't know until you try it. So that's how I see the role models. And I want to end it with, or like make this introduction end with one quote, and that is just lead by example. Like, everything you say or do, you should already be doing yourself. You cannot promote good health to somebody else or being fit without actually being fit yourself. You have to go through the stages of yourself first, or the stages that you're promoting first, in order to be a good role model. Like, I could be the brainless turbo bench and I could say, oh, invest your money in this, and then everybody will lose 10K in a month. That's not really what we want to achieve, right? So instead of me promoting and actively saying that this is the way to go to other people, I kept it hidden and I was like, okay, I'm not ready to share this because it's not really in the interest of other people to follow me, and you should not follow me.